First Coast's most accurate forecast from the First Coast News Weather Team, certified by Weather Rate, sponsored by AC Designs.
Good afternoon, everyone. Starting with a look at the beach. Beach might be a cool spot today, maybe for the weekend, if you got weekend plans to get out to the beach here on a beautiful weekend. We made it to a Friday. Happy Friday, first and foremost. I am First Coast News Chief Meteorologist Lewis Turner, rolling solo. Usually you see my buddy Ross here, Meteorologist Ross Muma, getting some much-deserved time away and enjoying that. So good for him. It's just us today, and we are talking a couple of different things. So we're going to go over the heat for the weekend and our weather impact alert for heat. So we're going to discuss exactly what a weather impact alert is during today's stream. You know, we'll issue these, and I think the last several weeks worth that you've heard us talk about it, it's been rain driven. So we have several different criteria. We're going to go over that and talk about why we're going to want you extra alert as we get into a Saturday afternoon and a Sunday afternoon with some pretty oppressive heat index values. But out at the beach, 91. I said maybe it's your cool spot. Maybe you go to get a little relief out there. Look at that heat index, 107. And this is our Neptune beach camera. So you got the sea breeze going now. We have it. Southeast winds at 11. And you think, oh, okay, maybe the breeze will help me feel better. That wind coming off the ocean, that's just a warm, moist, a bubble of air that's moving right over you. It's almost like you're getting sandblasted or a blowtorch on you. So it is oppressive out there right now. Just a little note. Usually I have my Navy mug, and my Navy mug is my coffee mug. And much like my predecessor and mentor and dear friend Tim Deegan, I don't wash my Navy mug. I rinse my Navy mug, but no soap in the Navy mug. It's like putting soap in cast iron. And I know that's a controversial take. Some people will wash their cast iron with soap and say it's fine. I don't. Maybe it's all psychosomatic. I feel like if I put soap in the cast iron, I can taste the dawn, and it's the same with my coffee mug. So my Navy mug is my coffee mug, but I'm practicing what I preach here. The white mug is my water mug. So as I go through this, I am promising myself I'm going to spend, because I'm going to be with you through the 11 p.m. newscast tonight, and I'm waiting to have coffee until after the main broadcast at 5:30, 6, and 7, and then I'll start a little coffee to keep my juices going. But I got to hydrate, and I hope you're hydrating as well. So we're going to go over a few things. Your big weather headlines for the rest of our, I got a little flyaway. Look at that little whoop-de-doo. My mom calls it a whoop-de-doo with my hair like that. Hydrate now, as mentioned. So I'm doing it. I hope you're doing it. Things are getting hot and humid, and the heat index values are kind of the big story. And it's going to be oppressively hot and humid by the weekend in the afternoons as the temperature, we just kind of keep ticking it up. We've got heat advisory in place for the rest of the next couple hours. So National Weather Service actually putting out a heat advisory for this afternoon. Been in place since about 1, and it's going to go until 6 o'clock. So we'll have that on the maps, and we are watching next week for a potential coastal low. So what does that mean? Potential coastal low. We've seen a couple of those. One of those became Chantal that went up towards the Carolinas. Another was Invest 93L that we just finished talking about really yesterday, but was something we experienced the last week and had a lot of attention from the Hurricane Center with that yellow to orange to yellow hatched area that we lovingly refer to as a blob. And now we'll get another coastal setup with a trough developing offshore and perhaps bringing another retrograding low, meaning it's going to move from east to west as opposed to Chantal, which moved right up the coast of the Carolinas. Either way, what do you remember about those impacts we've had? We've had rain with it, a little breeze with it, and it kind of helped with our temperatures. So if nothing else, maybe by middle week we get a break in the temps, but we'll bump up the rain chances. In the meantime, let's get through the weekend, then I'm going to go through next week and talk about what's next. Your weather impact alert for Saturday and Sunday afternoons. I'm going to highlight the 1 to 7 p.m. time frame in particular for the highest heat index values. The impact's going to be dangerous heat. And we refer to dangerous heat. I'm going to get into specifics about this, but we're talking about heat index values at 108 or above, so that 108 to 111 range, certainly possible both Saturday and Sunday afternoon. And the air temperatures are going to be extraordinarily hot as well, with 97 and 98 degree days possible. Not quite to record levels, which we had a bit of a heat wave in the year 2000 around here. So we had a couple of records go back to 2000 for what we'll see in the next couple of days. Actually, July 19th and July 20th, the record themselves are 101 and 103 respectively, and those were both in the year 2000. Today's record high would be 100, and we're getting in those mid and upper 90s around some parts of the area. We did that back in 1887. So we got to go back to the 1800s for our record for today. And we won't break a record. It doesn't look like we'll break any records through the weekend, but we are getting unusually high temperatures. It's been almost a year since we've had temperatures this hot. And I know we'll say, hey, it's Florida. We're used to the heat. This is a little different than what we're used to. Of course, we're coastally influenced and we're river influenced, and usually that moderates us in that average high of about 91 to 92 for this time of year. That's the normal high. But seeing 97 and 98, haven't hit 98 in some 350 days. So you have to go back to last August since we have seen a day at 98 degrees. As we look at our weekend, that's hot. And even the morning lows, like, you think about the highs, certainly, but as you're waking up in the morning and getting out thinking in the mornings will be the best time to do any activities, the yard work, etc., still, we're right around 80 degrees. So morning lows happening right before sunrise 6:30-ish. So we're going to have those morning lows right around that 6:30 to 7 a.m. time frame, and when most people are actually up and out and trying to do yard work when it's pleasing to the neighbors and you're running that weed whacker and not waking up Miss Charlotte next door. It's going to be about 80 already, so 80 early. Here's your live radar and your heat advisories out there for you. Heat advisory in place when Weather Service says we're going to be up at 108 and above for a period of time and in a widespread area. So you can see this would be Westside, Duval, Baker County, Bradford, Union County, Clay, Putnam, St. John's, really west of Highway 1. So the area is kind of more inland from the beaches. And then, of course, down towards Flagler County and beyond through the I-4 corridor. Any travel plans this weekend thinking, hey, we're going to take the kids to Disney, we're going to Universal. Even my buddies, I talk, kind of follow along, a couple of fellow meteorologists out of Orlando and, of course, Tampa. And Orlando forecast is one of their hottest and muggiest weekends of the year. So we are in it for a hot one there as well across the state. Looking bigger picture right now, satellite radar, we still watch that tropical moisture from what was Invest 93L. That was that tropical wave that just spent that time moving over the state of Florida, then and kind of hugging land, never truly developed. And that moisture is pulling to a front that we'll watch kind of move its way back to our beaches. In the meantime, they're still getting some rain from Mississippi and Alabama into North Georgia. Coming back home, though, I want to kind of zoom in on our current kind of conditions. We have the sea breeze going. So with the sea breeze, as it begins to move towards the St. Johns River, might get an isolated shower storm. I'm going to time that out for you in a minute. But current temperatures, I want to talk about heat index with you and what exactly it means, because you look at 94 degrees Jacksonville, 91 Mayport. I mentioned that average high is about 92, but you factor in the dew point, and we are I mean, an 82-degree dew point in St. Simons is about as much as our atmosphere can tolerate. So you factor in your dew point. We've got very tropical air, 79 Mayport, 79 St. Augustine. This is a measure of how much moisture is in the atmosphere. And as anticipated, that St. Simons heat index, where 82-degree dew point with temperatures flirting with the low 90s, you get a 111 real feel. And why is that important? What exactly are we talking about when we say heat index? Well, my colleague and meteorologist Robert Speta talked about that and filed this report. We want to take a look at what he has to say about heat index values.
It is hot this weekend around the First Coast. I mean, we're looking at these conditions that are going to be extreme to major. And it's not only these warm temperatures, which some of the hottest we've seen in about a year out here. It is also the humidity. So when we're talking about, some of these temperatures and the heat indices up to 108 to 112, this type of stuff where we get these heat advisories in place, everyone without AC is going to be at risk, especially if you're spending an extended period of time outside. And then you get up to those extreme levels, there's just little to no relief. And especially when we're talking about the heat index, the humidity as well, a lot of people think, I see people say actually it's a made up number. It's not. Remember, our bodies, they like to stay at 98.6. That's what warm-blooded creatures do, right? But when it is so humid out here, we release sweat to cool ourselves down, but you have that humidity, it's going to reduce the amount of evaporation coming off your skin, and thus the heat index. Those real field temperatures are a bit higher because your body is just working that much harder to keep cool. So something to keep in mind as we head through this hot weekend.
Speta, thank you. Yeah, it's about the sweat, right? You can't do it efficiently when you have high dew points. It doesn't evaporate and it doesn't cool. So thank you to Robert for that. And again, I just want to break it down again. I'm going to go back to your air temperatures. So, and I'm focusing on St. Simons right now because that's kind of the most extreme case that we're seeing. So you take your air temperature at 90. You see that you've got an 82-degree dew point. And generally speaking, the closer the dew point is to the temperature, that's as humid as it can be. So we talk about fog forecasting. That's when the dew point meets the temperature. So the dew point's quite literally the temperature in the atmosphere that water begins to condense into, water vapor begins to condense into more liquid, and you begin to see fog on the ground when you've got calm conditions in the morning and you see the temperature match the dew point. On the upper end of things, the atmosphere just can't handle those dew points and temperatures matching up. So that's why the atmosphere will not allow for any real evaporation. It's just already too saturated out there. So again, 111 is what it feels like in St. Simons. Current winds, we do have the sea breeze going out of the beach. So that's beginning to help. Starting to see that sea breeze. I'm checking out my other handheld radar. The sea breeze has made it to 95 on the north side of Duval and through Nassau County. And generally, we see the river kind of slow that sea breeze down just a bit. So for south side of Duval, Mandarin, and across St. Johns County, we still haven't seen it make it to the river yet. So right there at that 95 corridor, up and down. And we'll see as the sea breeze progresses west of 95 if we start to get some thunderstorms spark. So this is what I'm talking about. Futurecast modeling, the beginning of our Futurecast kind of overdoing the showers that we were seeing over the last hour. So I think this may be overdoing it a bit for our 7 to 8 o'clock hour as well, because you have to take the information that the computer model initializes with. Do you trust that? Maybe a little less confidence in it, but nonetheless, it is picking up a pattern that sea breeze could spark a quick shower this evening. Nothing to cancel plans over. Saturday, lower rain chances. So the weekend, the rain and thunderstorms not really the story. You can't take it out of the forecast entirely because, of course, it still is July and it still is Florida. So we got the heat, humidity, and that can spark a storm. But we look at coverage here on computer modeling. And you can see just not a lot. And then Sunday, even less. So we are under the influence now of the heat dome. So by Saturday, Sunday, we're going to have a big ridge of high pressure, more or less sitting right over the state of Florida. And with that heat dome with us Sunday, and we're getting up to 98 degrees, those rain chances go down. High pressure, generally speaking, kind of acts to block too much rain and thunderstorm development. Going into Monday, see a few coastal clouds begin to develop. We're going to still be warm and muggy on Monday as well, probably not quite to the heat advisory level. We'll continue to watch. And then Tuesday, the pattern shifts just a bit. So Robert talked about this. I'm going to talk about it as well, your heat risk. So generally the entirety of the Southeast is in that major range, that red. But as the heat advisory issued would suggest, west side of Duval down through Clay, Putnam, and St. Johns County, and parts of our areas around inland southeast Georgia shaded in that purple, that extreme, that dangerous. This means you gotta spend the next couple of days, if you must be outside, you gotta take breaks in the shade and cooling. I went through that a little too fast. So heat advisory, that 3 to 4 range is what we're going to be sitting in for the next couple of days. Everyone without cooling is at risk. So please check on the folks that may not have AC. Outdoor workers certainly going to be impacted. Little to no relief in the extreme, even overnight. And so we're talking about, remember I mentioned those overnight lows in the upper 70s near 80. So even at nighttime, for those who don't have AC, you're not going to get much of a break then either. So you got to make sure you're checking on folks who may be vulnerable to that. As our heat index trend for Saturday, Sunday, we're keeping it right around 109, certainly higher in some spots. Had a text message from someone that showed me their at-home thermometer was giving them a 111 reading. And yeah, that is brutally uncomfortable. Let's talk about our pets. We're getting into that reminder, certainly when it comes to cars, we're not leaving anything with a heartbeat in a car ever, whether it's a pet or obviously a human being. They can't stay in the car, not even for 5 minutes. And you got to get them out. And even with our walks, with dogs, so we're thinking early morning or after sunset, right? Or early morning, right around dawn to right around sunset be the best time, because that pavement is just going to be too hot for their pads to handle. And air temperature versus car temperature. So I'll show you quickly the map, but Lee Southwick has done a great job sort of breaking down the timing and why it is so imperative that we're checking the back seats and we're making sure nothing is ever left inside the car in conditions that we're going to have over this weekend. So here's Lee.
1,000 children have died in hot cars over the past 25 years. In fact, last year, 39 children died. That was up 35% from 2023. A child's body temperature rises 3 to 5 times faster than an adult's, and heat stroke occurs when the core body temperature is around 104 degrees. Death happens when the core body temperature is at or above 107 degrees. So how hot does your car get? Recently, we've had high temperatures in the middle 90s, and that means after 10 minutes, the inside of your car with the windows rolled up will be around 114 degrees. After 20 minutes, it's 124 degrees inside the car. After a half hour, the inside of your vehicle is 129 degrees, and after an hour, it is 133 degrees. So please check the back seat for children and pets. I'm meteorologist Lee Southwick. First Coast News on your side.
All right, Lee, thank you. So we got to find our cool spots. Got to find the cool spots. The pool forecast for you. Just had my guy Jackson, who's on the 1s and 2s, ask me about a beach weekend. And, the advice for the pool, for the beach this weekend, while our rain and storm chances, we still have them. They're lower, about 40% by that 3 o'clock time on Saturday with the mid-90s. What a great day for the pool, right? But listen for the thunder just in case. That's my one little caveat there, and have a lot of water on hand. In fact, as I'm mentioning, got the white water mug. Hydrate now. Go ahead. Grab a bottle of water. I'll wait. We'll stream while you go grab your water, drink it, and you will feel better. I promise you're going to feel better as opposed to some caffeinated beverages that may act to dehydrate you. This is the type of heat that just kind of makes you a little more tired. And that's just the precursor to all those bad things Lee was just telling you about. So pool forecast for a Saturday looking good. Oh, the yard work forecast. I know the weekend is the time for it. The grass is getting long. Mine's getting long. I've got an excuse, though, and I think you can use this as well. Go ahead and take a picture of your screen if you want, and you can say, oh, Lou said we can't do the yard work this weekend, at least not in the afternoon. Early morning or evening is the time to do it, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday, poor, just too hot, and honestly just not healthy. Monday, I'm going to put it fair, so if you can do it on Monday, fine, but it's still going to be hot then as well. All right, so you notice the today side of this graphic is blank. This automatically populates from the National Weather Service, so we have not officially got our high temperature readings in just yet. The average high for the time of year, as we mentioned, is 92. The average low is 73. This morning, we were up in those upper 70s, and obviously today we are above average. We already know that. The record, as also mentioned, 100 degrees, hitting 1887. The record low, 68. Oh, how pleasant that would be. That was in 1927. And again, the next 2 days, Saturday's record was 101, set in 2000. Sunday's record's 103, also set in the year 2000. So your weekend outlook and your weather impact alerts, and we're really highlighting our afternoons because of that dangerous heat. And it's one of those things where if you thought about outdoor plans, if you got kids playing sports outdoors and on some of that astroturf that really radiates heat, we got to be extra careful. All right, let's transition to a time of future. So let's look to the next week. Tropical update. Hurricane Center says no tropical formation expected in the Atlantic the next 7 days. And isn't that a good thing? That's a good thing, all right? We take our hurricane season 1 7-day bite at a time, but there is an area we're going to watch. So maybe the Hurricane Center's not, we just have our eyes on it, not necessarily being tropical development, but our area of rain that we'll watch for Tuesday and for Wednesday. And that would be our next big weather impact alert. We got a couple reasons that we issue weather impact alerts, and we're going to experience 2 of them over these next 7 days. The weekend is heat. Tuesday, Wednesday will be the enhanced rain chances because of a boundary that will develop. The hot weekend, though, we know we've got the high pressure dome through Saturday, Sunday. Monday, it begins to relax a bit. That's a pretty big ridge that's over us. As we look long range, though, probably a similar, not exactly similar, but we will have that coastal trough sitting up right along the coastline with South Carolina and Georgia, and that low could certainly develop and dig in over Northeast Florida, and that would be Tuesday, Wednesday. This is the American model, so the rain chances will be there. And want to just get kind of ahead of it and have you thinking about Tuesday, Wednesday. If Tuesday, Wednesday was a big travel day for you across the state of Florida, or of course you're a working person, you got to get your morning and afternoon commute. We're going to watch our afternoon commutes for some tropical downpours, potential for strong storms right now. But this is so far out. We want you ahead of it. We aren't ringing the bell on anything severe or anything very tropical developing. But what I want with the weather impact alert is just you're ready, you're thinking about it, and we'll follow updates, right? With forecast and weather, things can and will change frequently. So as I mentioned that, maybe that's my little CYA caveat, if you will. But also at the same time, we will make adjustments as necessary. And if, kind of that threshold as we look at the 7-day forecast and we begin to wrap up this stream, our threshold for weather impact alert when it comes to rain, will 70% or more of us see a shower and during an inconvenient time, meaning mainly the commutes or any outdoor activities on any given day. That would be Tuesday, Wednesday. And then for Saturday, Sunday, what about the heat? Yeah, we're looking at that as well. That high heat index value we'll see for Saturday, Sunday, certainly, and that's up and over the 108 heat index value. So that's kind of the difference between what we'll see the weekend and then what we'll see on Tuesday and Wednesday. Hope you'll join us to be with you at 5 p.m. on air on First Coast News all the way through 7:30. And of course, as any updates come in, we'll bring them to you right here on First Coast News Plus. Y'all have a fantastic afternoon. Stay cool and hydrate.